Welcome back, folks, to the Mailwright Show. It's episode 202. I'm recovering. I've got my co-host, Robert, with me as well. And we've got a great guest. Well, and I'm going to butcher his name, but and that's Jack Kosakowski.
Kosakowski. I'll make it easy.
I apologise, but I am infamous about destroying my guest surnames. Jack, would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers?
Yeah, my name's Jack Kosakowski, and I'm the CEO of the U.S. division of a global agency called Creation Agency, also the co-founder of a media site called skillslab.io, and just a really, really passionate guy about helping, educate individuals and, helping companies to really use digital to turn it into dollars, whether that's small business, medium business. A big piece of our business is tech companies, but, we do also work with people in the real estate tech field and multiple other fields as well.
Yeah, I've watched some of Jack's interviews online. He's a real expert on how to use social media to actually get clients, real leads. And I thought he'd be a great person to come on and talk about social media in general, specifically also Facebook and Instagram. And I've got my great co-host, Robert. Robert, would you like to introduce yourself to the new listeners or viewers?
I would love to. So my name is Robert Newman. I am an inbound marketer, which is a fancy way of saying that I use attraction marketing to get people to websites and then get those people to do something that we want them to do, such as create leads. And I've been focused on real estate for the last 12 years.
Yeah, so, that sounds great. And it's his birthday in a couple of days' time, isn't it?
It is. And I constantly get people messaging in from the show and other places and going, oh, you look 35. So hold on to your seats, guys. I am not 35. I am turning 49, not some much younger age. Somebody that I reviewed a whole bunch of our shows that actually contacted me was like, yeah, you can't be out of your mid-30s. And I'm like, man, I'm almost as old as you. He's 50.
Just take it. Any blessings you get, there we are. Right. And I'm the founder of Mailwright. We're a great platform that gets real estate agents quality leads. And we do that by using the power of Facebook. And we provide a number of tools that will make your life easier and get the quality leads that you're looking for. If that sounds interesting, go to mail-wright.com and find out some more. Right, Jack. So in this world of social media, you said your mum's also a real estate agent. Have you got any kind of insights initially about how to use social media if you're a real estate agent the right way? And then maybe give some insights about why so many people don't use it that well.
Yeah, I think the thing about a real estate agent in most cases, unless you're in big markets, but the smaller markets is you don't have a lot of competition, right? You don't have thousands of real estate agents in Marshalltown, Iowa, where my mom's from, right? You've got about 10 to 15 competitors. So my question would be is how are you winning attention of people that could potentially want to buy a new house or sell a house in the next 6 months, right? So I think where a lot of people go wrong is in real estate is they use it as a reactive tool instead of a proactive tool. And there's so many simple methods and strategies that we've implemented for my mom. One is she's very heavily involved in the community, right? So one of the things that we've noticed is that people like to do business with people that are doing good things in the community, right? Especially in a smaller area. So, not selling, but amplifying, hey, we're raising money for this. We're raising money for this. And then running retargeting ads to those people about a house that's for sale, right? So it's how do you introduce yourself from a marketing perspective, from a personal branding perspective? How do you introduce yourself? What's the first introduction? We're raising money for the new park that's going in town, right? People get excited. Okay, cool. Love to see that you're helping us, build a new park in town. And then the next thing you know is they're getting a retargeted ad on Instagram, Facebook to say, hey, look at this property, right? We've got an open house on Tuesday at 9 a.m. So you're kind of building credibility and then using business on the back end of that to kind of drive the sales conversation.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Over to you, Robert.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
It's going to be difficult.
Hey, I love the challenge of the personal branding play. Okay, I love it. So if you want to challenge it, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, go on.
Well, it's here's the so to our audience, I posed a question to Jack before the show started. Many years ago, I had a chance to consult with Ryan Serhant, and at the time, he was looking for some help converting quite literally tens of thousands of visitors off his Twitter feed into actual usable leads for his high-end luxury real estate business. And this is before he founded Nest Seekers and moved into the CEO role of a brokerage and so on and so forth. And at that particular time, while I do believe he was occasionally making connections, it was extremely hard for him to leverage social media. And over the years, I've also had a chance to talk to Joyce Ray and a couple of other people. And it tends to be one of those things where steering conversations off social media in a direction that actually equals revenue seems to be a very challenging thing on using social media platforms, because for whatever reason, there seems to be a lot of dialogue happening on those platforms. Now, I'm not saying that it couldn't be done, but I asked Jack what he would do, and he had an answer for me at that time. So I'm gonna say that's part of a question, Jack, and then I'm also gonna say I have a second question. Because Jack mentioned, hey, this person has a huge brand, and most likely there was factors about having credibility online that might impact his actual revenue. I don't disagree. I would ask this question though, because 99% of the people that listen to this show, they're not Ryan Serhant or Joyce Ray.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
They're actually probably like the young lady that Jonathan and I interviewed a while ago, where she's got maybe 150 people in her circle of influence, and she's desperately trying to figure out how to leverage those 150 people. So I'm going to ask you this question. How would you build a social media audience with the intent of selling to it from scratch in the real estate business?
So I would tell you that Twitter is not the right place to be in the first place. So I would have told Ryan Serhant to say, why are you wasting your time on Twitter when you're in real estate, right? That would have been my absolute first. But I think where this gets really powerful, and I think a lot of real estate agents don't understand it, is the power of targeting that we have with Instagram and LinkedIn or Facebook. So, if I was consulting real estate agent, the first thing I would say is pick, Facebook and Instagram as your platform. Don't worry about anything else, in my opinion, other than building your email list, right? So you have channels to build your email list, but I think where a lot of people go wrong is the targeting, right? So build your Facebook page, build your Instagram page, turn it into a business page in Instagram, and start to run ads. I think if I was starting right now as a new real estate agent, one of the things that I would do is I would do Facebook Lives at open houses, right? I would Facebook Live an open house and do a really, really quick walkthrough of something, and then I would turn that into an ad and geo-target that towards, I'm going to use Marshalltown, Iowa as an example. My mom's a real estate agent there, right? I would do zip code 50158, which is the zip code in Marshalltown, and I would take that live and I would boost that with a link to the listing on my site, and I would run that to just drive engagement, right, to get people talking. And then I would keep building these kind of retargeting structures around different content strategy. And I don't know if we have enough time for that, but one of the content strategies is, what are you doing for the community, right? What do you, if you join the Chamber of Commerce, how are you helping the Chamber of Commerce amplify an event that they have coming up that other business owners should come into? Because we know that if I'm a real estate agent, I want to network with as many business owners as possible, right? Because typically they have a little bit higher pocketbooks in most cases. So I'm thinking about my ideal buyer and my content strategy, but I'm really using retargeting on Facebook and Instagram ads, $1 a day, $5 a day, not that much, to get visibility into those target zip codes of people that I'm looking to get into those homes to take a look at, or to become a potential buyer and be a potential sales conversation.
Okay. That was fantastic. I agree with everything that you just said. For our audience though, I'm gonna hit the slow down and rewind button, and I'm gonna say, I'm going to say a couple of things that Jack mentioned that I feel kind of fall into either the intermediate skill level for social selling or advanced skill level for social selling. So Facebook Live. Facebook Live is for a lot of you, I think you might know what it is. You may not know how to use it. We're Facebook Live right now, which is where the three of us are being recorded onto our Facebook page, our business page. And that's how we're using Facebook Live. So, John, I'm going to actually ask you, because I don't use it that much. Just real quickly, can you say, how does somebody find where to go Facebook Live on their Facebook page? Real quick, just so that we can start at the very basic part of this.
Well, it's normally you can either utilize your personal profile or your business page. I think you should set up a business page because because you're going to use it for paid advertising. So so set up your business page, like I say, but either of them, there's a tag at the top where you can either post normally or post a video, but it normally says Facebook Live as well. It gives you the option. On the mobile app, a lot of people are going to be using their iPhone or Android. It's even easier there. There's actually a specific app that you can utilize. So they're probably going to be using a mobile device. Because we're doing a podcast, I use the desktop. And there's different forms of software and application depending if you're on PC or Mac.
I mean, it's pretty easy. There's a go. If you go to if you go to post something, there's a go. There it is right there, right? Come on, zoom in. Go live button right here. I can't. Why won't it? Come on, zoom in. But you hit go live and it says start live video.
Yeah.
It's really, really simple. And I mean, my mom can do it. Anybody can do it. Let's be honest. My mom is not technologically advanced. And I taught her how to do it in about 5 minutes. But she literally has a tripod. She takes a tripod to an open house and she stands in front of it and she talks about it and she takes the tripod around for about 5 minutes, shows you the room, shows you the bathroom, shows you the backyard, and that's it, right? I mean, it's super simple. But I think your point, Jonathan, is you can do it on your personal page. So like if you're like a super beginner and you're like, you're talking where my head, perfect. Just like you do a post, go do a live, have your mobile phone, talk into it, flip the screen around and walk around it on your personal page. And, your personal connections would see it. But I think the powerful thing is if you put it on your public page, you can spend $10 and target thousands of people to watch the video in a local area.
What I would like your advice on is the reason why I introduced the personal profile on the business page, because it's always a difficult one, because you're going to, especially a video, if you push it to your personal profile, a lot of people initially are going to see it, where if you put it on your business page, a lot less people are going to see it unless you use money to advertise that post. And the main thing is don't press that boost, that post button, that boost button. Because you're just throwing your money away, you really need to go into Business Manager, which is another whole topic. And that's why people tend to freeze, don't they? Because then they're going to have to go into Business Manager.
Well, I think that's a number one problem with most real estate agents, though, is they don't want to spend money on advertising, right? I mean, that's my experience. And plain and simple, you can network your way to a certain amount of business, but at some point, if you want to kind of take it to the next level, you do have to invest, money, right? I mean, whether that's into SEO to optimize your website or, to understand how to build an email list and have some paid strategies around that, right? I mean, there's so many different things that have to happen when you want to get to that next level. I've had to have that conversation with my mom as a real estate agent, right? It's like, you have to do something differently and it's going to cost you a little bit of money, right? How much money, that's up to you. But, Facebook and Instagram ads can be a very, very cheap attention grabbing strategy, right? Is it going to be the bee's knees and is it a silver bullet? Hell no. I mean, there's no silver bullets in anything, right? But I think it does give you a competitive advantage, especially in laggard markets where your competitors aren't doing anything like that, right? They might have a billboard up or something, but they're not doing anything innovative from a targeting perspective. I think, the average person spends 45 minutes a day scrolling through Facebook. feed, their Facebook feed, right? Imagine if you could be the real estate agent that at least twice or 3 times a week, they see one of your properties in their feed, and you do that over a 3 months period of time. And when they're ready to buy, if you've owned their attention, who are they going to buy from, right? Or at least who are they going to have a conversation with if they don't already have an existing relationship?
Well, that's great. We're going to go for our break. When we come back, I want to ask Jack more about Instagram and what he thinks of the platform, give him some advice and insights into that. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. We're coming back. We've had a bit of a feast about Facebook. Robert looks a little bit bored, but I think he's happy. He's pumping himself up for his birthday, so he's happy. He's a happy, jolly guy. Jack looks puzzled. I would be puzzled if I was a guest on this show, but hopefully we're going to make the experience a bit better for him. Instagram. What your thoughts about it? Got any insights about how a real estate agent, specifically around Instagram, should be utilizing that platform, Jack?
So this is a tough one for me because I love Instagram. But I would have to agree with Robert on this one. Is like it's a really tough platform in real estate, in my opinion. Other than using ads for specific targeting, it's a really hard platform to build an audience without spending a lot of money. And is it the right place for real estate? I don't know. What I tell people is, I'm a fan of Tony Robbins' modeling, perspective. Is like, okay, if you're in real estate, how do you know what you should be doing? Well, I say, okay, go find other real estate agents on Instagram, see what they're doing, and model it in your own way, right? I mean, you can't copy their strategy. But what I will tell you is that I think Instagram stories is interesting, right?
Yeah, that's where I was leading you to, actually, because I agree. I've got a love-hate affair because we introduced the ability of our system to post to Instagram a month ago. But I'm not a great active user of Instagram. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Twitter for other reasons. I'm a great believer in Facebook still, but and I believe in YouTube as well. But Instagram, I'm in and out with it. But that part of it, I'm interested in. So, speak some more about that, Jack.
Yeah, I think you go back to, goes back to kind of telling the story of when you're in a house, right? Taking a 15-second video of the entryway, and you can have 6-7 little different mini segments. You could actually even go live. I mean, the thing about this stuff, this is what I tell people, is it's free to use, right? I mean, doing a live stream, if you've got 3,000 connections on Facebook, what's it gonna hurt, right? I mean, as long as you're not overdoing it and you're, some people will be interested and some people won't, right? But it doesn't hurt to put yourself out there. You have to as a real estate agent, right? If you want to get more connections, you want to get more eyeballs, and you want to get more sales, well, then you got to put out something that can get you to that point, right? The one-to-one relationship thing is like, it doesn't scale unless it's over a long period of time, right? So, that's where I struggle with people is like, well, just put stuff out there, test it, right? I mean, do something that's free, don't go out and pay for ads. First force yourself to get good on video, right? I mean, you're going to have some shitty videos. You might put out a live stream that looks kind of crappy. Well, just delete it, right? Until you get it to the point where you've had enough practice and now you're good on video and kind of showing around. One of the things that my mom does once in a while is she just gives you 5 tips, right? She just goes on video and says, hey, here's 5 tips to get the price of your home value up, right? I mean, and she just tells you, because she's an expert in the field, here's 5 things you're probably not thinking about. And she puts it on video, and you'd be amazed how many people are like, wow, Fauna, I never thought about that. That's great. Whether they got something out of the one tip or not, but you're just consistently kind of building your credibility, giving that value through education, getting people excited through showing them what potentially in their next house could look like, right? How do you get people excited about and thinking about buying a new house? Put a damn really awesome house that's a lot better than the one they have in front of them over and over and over enough times, right? So, you got to get strategic. And these channels are just another medium of communication. And, you just got to figure out how to take advantage of them for free in the beginning. And then if you start to figure out, hey, this does make sense, start to put some money behind it, a little bit at a time. And along with the other strategies, right? How am I building my email list? How am I nurturing people? There's so much you can be doing, but I would say doing nothing is the worst strategy.
That's true. So, to get on about what you mentioned in the first part of the show, you mentioned retargeting through Facebook. Can you give us, because obviously me and Robert understand it, and some of our listeners, because we've been going on about that for months, but we get a lot of new listeners and viewers, and thank you very much for coming on the show, listening to us. Can you give us some background on what you meant by retargeting?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. So let's say that you did an open house, and you live streamed it on your company Facebook page. Well, let's say you had 1,000 people that viewed it for 10 seconds or more. What you can do is you can actually take those 1,000 people that viewed it 10 seconds or more, and you can build a retargeting audience. So let's say your first video goes up and you had 1,000 people viewed it. So your next video that you go up, you're going to run an ad to those 1,000 people to get them to see that ad again for another house, right? Now let's say that 2,000 people watch that plus 500 watch the other one. Now you've got your third video has 2,500 people to retarget. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the same people to watch something over and over and over. They say online it takes 7 to 9 touches before somebody would even make a purchase decision, right? And that's talking about e-commerce, small ticket size. We're not talking about a $100,000 house. So maybe it takes 15 touches for them to finally be confident to make the decision. Say, I'm going to call Jack. I want to buy my house from him. I've been following him for a really long time. I've been watching what he's doing. I love the properties that he's got listed, whatever that may be. But there's also website retargeting, right? So anybody that's come to your website in the last 30 days, you're going to retarget those certain people. There's many different types of retargeting strategies that you could be using right away. One would be if you're a realtor and you've got an email list of 5,000 people, but you only have a 15% open rate. Well, how do you get those other people 85%, rather than calling them, you put them into a Facebook ads, right? And you retarget your email list, right? You put up those videos that you're doing live streaming at a home, at an open house. You retarget those people on your email list with a video on a channel where they live, because maybe they don't check their email or their email address is bad. Or it's another great way to get people re-engaged. So we've tested it where we've taken an email list of 10,000 people that only has about a 20% open rate. We've uploaded that email list in, and we've actually increased our email open rate by doing retargeting strategies on social media, right? To get them back engaged, to say, oh, well, I forgot about this, and getting them to sign up for something else. So retargeting is the most powerful tool that we have with digital and online, but most realtors have no strategy for that, to stay in front of people on multiple channels over time. They just kind of stuck in one channel in most cases.
It's understandable, and obviously, because Jake, when I watched your other videos, obviously, you do a lot of podcasts and information on business to business, and they're great stuff, Jack. But obviously, when it comes to real estate, there's very few real estate agents that have built a list of 5 or even 10,000 on their list. It's something that me and Robert have been consistently hammering away, that you need to build up a database. You need to,
especially brokers, right? I mean, brokers like you've got real estate agents that come and go, and you have you're not, as a brokerage, building a full database of all these people throughout your realtors. I mean, brokers is even more imperative that they build an email list from all of the real estate agents that are going to come and go, and their customers are going to come and go, right?
Well, it is true, but some of the most indifferent, painful email campaigns tend to come from the brokerage database. Yeah. I'm actually interested in, would you agree with that, Robert?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Some of the most indifferent email marketing on earth come from brokerages. I don't know why, but I do know why, because it's a bit linked to some of your other conversations you've had recently, because you had one on a podcast where you were saying, it's related to LinkedIn and Facebook, where you said you would select like 10 of your closest, the target audience, and you would try and engage them in conversation. And then you were talking about when is it the time to actually do outreach to people. And in the same thing, I think you can utilize that structure to a real estate agent, because you do this outreach, and then there should be a time where you should be more proactive and you do outreach. Is got any thoughts about that, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I think like if I was in real estate, I do actually, I'm not in real estate, but I do this anyway, so I practice what I preach. But your Facebook feed, your personal Facebook feed, is a gold mine for referrals, right? So like what a lot of people do is they look at their Facebook feed and they go, oh, this person could never buy from me. I'm not going to engage with them. They could never buy from me. But the problem that you don't realize is that they might not be able to buy from you, or they might not be in the market, but their uncle could be, right? Their uncle that's looking for a house and is looking to move to your area. So, staying in touch with people, like just a simple, like, happy birthday, right? Hey, just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. Just messaging people that are in your network that like, for example, I have a cousin that loves Volkswagens, right? So once in a while, I don't talk to this cousin very often, but once in a while, if I see a really cool article about Volkswagens, I'll DM him on Messenger and say, hey, I found this awesome article. And believe it or not, not too long ago, he sent me a fat referral out of the blue, right? Hadn't even talked to him maybe in 3 months, but he sent me a referral, said, hey, I've got a buddy that's owns a business and is looking for an agency, and I just thought of you, right? Because just doing these light touches and staying in front of all these people in your network and building kind of that digital connection, those referrals over time, those will add up, right? I mean, maybe it's 5 referrals a year, but 5 referrals a year that close is a lot of money, right? Just by doing some simple outreach and touches and showing people that you care and that you're there without even selling them. That stuff is the easy stuff you can do as a real estate agent that nobody else is doing, right? It's just saying hi sometimes. Hey, just wanted to say hi. Hope all is well. Let me know if I can do anything for you, right? Haven't talked to you in a while. Maybe let's grab coffee when you have time. Talk about how our kids are going to college, right? Nothing to do with real estate, but you're just staying in front of people and actually showing that you give a shit, because you're not the realtor that's just spamming them, trying to get them to buy another house or sell their house and buy from you again. It's really about just staying in front of people with all the right motive over time and using that as what I like to call compounded interest, right? Like Warren Buffett says.
Well, I totally agree with you, but I think a lot of agents really struggle with that because of the time, the ups and downs of being a real estate agent. But I think you really, you've got to have different buckets for different people. And the ones that have, you see they're consuming your content, or they've done business with you in some way, that needs to be in your top bucket where you do this personal outreach. But you've got to have a methodology about how people get into that top bucket. And, especially if you're starting out, because you won't have a lot of initial sales or buyers, but it will happen. But you've got to have a methodology of how people get into that top bucket where you're doing a lot of this personal outreach. Would you agree with that, Jack?
Yeah, I think it's funny because somebody said to me not too long ago, they said, well, I'm in insurance. This is an insurance agent. Said, I sell insurance. And I said, well, I didn't know you sold insurance. I've been Facebook friends with you for years, and I just got insurance, right? Like if I would have known that you sold insurance, like I would have got my insurance through you, right? Like it was like simple concept. And they're like, well, how would you have known? I said, well, I follow you on Facebook. I follow your sports posts and all this stuff. Like all you had to simply say is like, take a picture in front of State Farm, right? I don't know if that's where they work, but take a nice picture in front of the State Farm office and say, today was a good day. Here's 5 lessons I learned. In the insurance world, and post that on your personal page. Because what I think a lot of people don't realize, and this could be in real estate as well, is how are people going to buy from you, especially people that are in your network that know that you have a relationship with but haven't talked to you in years? How are they going to buy from you if they have no freaking clue what you actually sell, right? Like, I mean, at the most simple format is like twice a month, post on your Facebook page very strategically about how you're excited that this house just sold, right? I'm so excited that I just sold this freaking house to my best friends, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for them, right? I mean, that's a subtle way of letting people know, hey, I sell freaking real estate. I'm available without actually being a selfish jerk, right? I mean, visibility is a powerful thing. Attention is a powerful thing, and you can do it in very subtle ways But like I said, people don't know what you sell, which I would challenge a lot of real estate agents right now. How many people know that you actually sell real estate, that you are friends with or have been friends with in the past? Social media is your vehicle to make sure that they know, so that they don't go buy from one of your competitors because they didn't even know you sold it.
Right. I think hopefully Jack's going to stay on, and we're going to have some bonus content. I'll wrap up the podcast part of the show. In the bonus, I'm going to be asking Jack about his own mum's experiences and what she's achieved if she's used paid advertising herself. Robert, how can people get hold of you and find out more about you, Robert?
If they really wanted to, they could go to inboundrem.com, and most everything about me and all of my marketing philosophies is pretty much all there online, plus reviews of all the top real estate marketing technology companies.
That's great. And Jack, how can people find out more about you and your words of wisdom?
Yeah, just connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn. Shoot me a DM. Let me know you watch this, and just let's just connect there. I think that's the easiest way to go about this, right?
And if you want to contact me, go to the MailRight website. You can book a free demo, and I will personally walk through the software for you. Or you can, through Facebook or Twitter, you can get hold of me. I'm pretty easy to communicate with. Love to chat with you and for you to come on the MailRight system. We're going to continue the discussion a bit longer, which you'll be able to watch on the MailRight YouTube channel. We normally post there all our latest content, so go there, or the MailRight Facebook page. We'll see you next week, folks, with another great interview or internal discussion with my great partner, Robert. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Robert, do you do SEO for real estate agents?
Yeah.
Oh, I might have to have my mom talk to you.
Right. There you go. So he's got a client already. See, there you go, folks.
That's one thing my agency doesn't do. We don't do SEO. We stay. Right. We're not trying to be the masters of everything.
So when it comes to your mum, obviously, hopefully, you've indicated that she's been utilising live video and that. So does she actually spend money on paid advertisement, Jack?
Yeah, she does. So it's very minimal. I think it's $300 a month or something. But, it's...
for the average agent, that's a reasonable sum of money. How many, do you know how many properties she actually sold last year?
Yeah, she was like number one. She sold 10, I think she did over 10, 20 million, something like that. She's way up there. Yeah. she's got a business partner, a buyer agent that's really, really good too. So, but yeah, she's a power. She uses her personal brand. I mean, that's all she uses to drive her business.
Right. So what has she discussed the actual methodology that she utilizes in her own Facebook? Is it, and if she has, can you give some insights about how she utilizes WordPress? Oh, not WordPress, Facebook, sorry.
Well, let's just look at it.
Right. This is the beauty, folks, of if you're watching the video, Jack's actually sharing her actual, or attempting to.
Yeah. So this is my mom's page.
Right.
So just kind of a fun, feel. This is my mom and then her business partner, Kelly.
Right.
So, they do a lot of amplification, right? Just, simple, nothing crazy. Here's a live.
Wonderful Wednesday. Kelly Thurston with the Bonner Nord and Kelly Thurston team.
They're just talking about how they sold a house.
Right.
Just they put all their listings in here.
So how do they deal with the ups and downs when it comes to time management and being consistent with this? Can you give some insights about how do they use software to help them with the consistency of posting, a scheduler and that? Or, because I think that's one of the main things that real estate agents struggle with, this consistency element.
So they have an assistant that posts everything. So I think they put together like a little bit, at the beginning of the month, they put together, okay, what are we trying to achieve this month? What kind of properties should we be posting on our social channels? And, what ads should we be running? Where should we do an open house? So I think they do a lot of this stuff manually. That's not to say that, there's my mom right there doing a live. Here she is.
Nothing. I am out on 250th Street, 2955, 250th Street.
Yeah, just talking about, here's where I am. We're doing an open house. So, they always just start announcing new properties. Here's a Main Street Madness, right? I was talking to you about it. Block party, right? So they're talking about, something fun going on in the community. And it's just a little mixture of a strategy. I mean, it's a very, very simple strategy. There's nothing crazy about it.
No,
right?
it's something that the average agent can definitely do, can't they, Jack?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the average agent, they use Canva, right? So they use Canva to create their images and to create some fun stuff, right? It doesn't take a rocket science graphic designer to do it. And then they have their, assistant that posts, one time a day on the Facebook page or whatever that may be. So it's simple strategy, but it works. I would have to ask my mom, because I'm, not involved in that, what the attribution of that, is back to the business. But what I can tell you is that I know that she hears this all the time is, saw your house on Facebook, right? Like was scrolling through my feed, because she shares everything on her personal too, right? So she's got her business page, and then that's how she'll drive her audience to her company page, is she'll share it on her personal and say, hey, we've got a house listing, right? So then she gets people to go follow them. So it's a simple strategy. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and I know it's definitely paying 10x to 20x of what she's investing in it just by one house being sold, right?
And has she actually gone into the retargeting element, or do they keep away from that?
So they do retargeting. Like I said, they only boost certain posts. So if they have like a house that they think is really hot, that's going to sell right away, they'll boost that and retarget it. So they kind of know like what houses are kind of hot to start a conversation, right? They don't just put anything up there and run an ad on it. They're very selective, but they know, we put the house in front of people with this median income, right? In this zip code, it's going to start a conversation because that's a hot area code, and we know that people can afford it. So there's ways that you could do the targeting too based on income and so forth. That's pretty cool on Facebook and Instagram.
Right. Got a question, Robert, or shall we wrap it up?
No. I'm good. You touched on a lot of points, and possibly we should maybe dedicate a show to more in-depth strategy and from a surface level in terms of starting dialogues or creating traffic. As a support, as you and I have talked about many times, in terms of having a base website and using tools like this in order to extend your brand. I agree with all the ideas. I love, for those of you that stayed tuned for the bonus content, I love the fact that Jack was able to show us something actionable in terms of his mother's Facebook page. I think that's super valuable. I hope that some of you will take something I've said many times, which is it's so much easier and better just to emulate something that is working and improve upon that over time. Instead of trying to spend 100 hours trying to learn something or paying massive consultation fees, it's better just take something that you think is working, even if it's working a little bit, like Jack said, one sale for the year, a $3,000 budget for the year, take what his mother's already doing, start there, and then expand on that idea over time.
Because I really thank you for doing that, Jack, actually, because it was, I think me and Robert have been discussing this quite a bit during the podcast the past year, and people have a tendency to think it has to be very sophisticated, not disparaging your mother at all and her partner's efforts, but it's more about a certain standard but consistency, and I could see that they had that consistency. And
but you got, to be fair, if it gets too good, it can almost feel like it's not a local real estate agent, right?
Exactly.
So I think, there's a difference between Ryan Serhan, who's like, got to have a freaking drone and flying in and out of a $30 million house, right? Like, you got to have this thing. But my mom's selling to, just a, white blue collar worker. you know, they don't want to see flash, right? Just give them something simple, give them a price, give them a house, and, you know, and talk about something for 5 minutes. I mean, they don't need that really high level of sophistication. And I actually think if she did that, it could actually hurt her marketing versus help it for her target buyer.
Agreed 100%. Don't want the show to end without saying how much I agree with that. If you're the vast majority of people that we work with, Jonathan and I, the vast majority of people I've ever worked with deal with a median marketplace. And simplicity and directness and clarity of information always works better. Authenticity, trustworthiness. I would say invest in social proof, like getting reviews and having them be decent, but not fancy. Just like this person was honest. They did a good job. They showed up. I felt comfortable. These are keywords that the average home buyer really clues into.
Well, there's something else you did see on there, which is interesting that they do sometimes, which is actually, you know, after somebody's kind of got the keys to the house, one of their buyers, if they are cool with it, they'll actually interview them and say, hey, how excited are you for your new house, right? And they might do that on a live or a quick 3-minute video of that and post that, because it just shows, like you said, it shows like social proof and excitement from somebody else that's bought from them. And it does show that authenticity side of like, hey, those people are just like us and they bought from Fauna. We can relate to that, right? Like we could be those people. We are those people, right? Let's talk to Fauna.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Jack, thank you so much for coming on. You have to come back. I actually have enjoyed our conversation a great deal. And thanks for being so frank and honest and giving some insights. I think in this episode, we kind of brought it down to some really fundamental basics. And by you showing your mother's feed, I think agents can really get a good picture that it doesn't have to be so difficult. It can, you know, you keep it to the basics, you will get results. Well, folks, we'll see you next week with another great show. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.